Thanks for joining me, Leroy Tucker. I really appreciate it. How's your day been so far?
It's been good getting ready for Easter, and it's exciting to be in business for this long.
Tell me, how long have you been in business?
Been 65 years total from school, 1960 to this date.
Wow. And so, if I'm not mistaken, you chose your profession right outside of high school. Is that correct?
Well, I intended to be a veterinarian, go to OSU. I didn't have the money to do that, so I went to barber school first to get the ability to cut hair on campus, but I never did get there. I set up my own shop, bought my own business, and my parents backed me for my first shop.
Wow. So, at what point, as you were saving up for vet education, did you decide, hey, this is going to be my life's work? Or did you know immediately when you were starting your first shop?
I grew up on a farm, and I tended to animals as I grew up, and that's what I wanted to do for a lifetime, but it just didn't work out that way for me.
Have you stayed close to animals ever since?
No,
Okay.
no, I have moved from the McAllister area to Midwest City in 1962, and I've been here since.
And you trained not just locally, but even you had some time training in Italy.
Yes, I spent 2 weeks in Italy with a team, and we put on what we call symposiums where we would go to different cities. We started in Connecticut, Georgia, Dallas, Kansas City, Oakland, California.
Wow.
And these are different weekends that we would go there and train.
What did that experience teach you?
It taught me to be able to help others, and I opened a barber school with a partner back in '78, and I only was in that business for 1 year, and then I came back into this shop, and I've been here since '79.
In your opinion, with all of the years of experience you have, are there a lot of things that separate a good barber from a great barber?
Yes, there are, because you spend the time with the client. You need to understand what they want as far as their hair care. We do shampooing, but I was trained with a razor by went to Europe and trained with a razor to cut hair totally uh, with a razor. No other tool other than a straight razor.
It sounds like precision training.
Mr. Edmund Roffler was the one that had the franchise, and each state had a dealer,
Okay.
and that dealer would supply the products. Like I have some on the shelf where it says Roffler on them on that lower shelf. I still use them because they're quality products, and that is who I went to Europe with, was that team to put on a symposium. And what you're doing is you're bringing all the people in the district, not only your state, but the district. And when we was in Dallas, we had probably 5 different states that attended. I was the MC for the team of 6. And then later, after we finished our time with the symposiums, then 2 of us would go to different states and train barbers there. the same technique that we had done on stage for them.
Wow. And what does MC stand for?
What is
You mentioned that you were the MC, is that correct?
MC, the Master of Ceremonies?
Oh, Master of Ceremonies. Okay. Yeah. Forgive me. Wow.
Yeah.
Last name that you mentioned was Roffler, is that correct?
Edmund Roffler was the one that formulated the products.
Wow. And he's still around today.
He is dead, but another man owns the company,
Okay.
and his name is Sam Lepore.
Sam
And
Lepore.
he's out of Arizona now.
So Roffler's legacy is still alive.
Yes, it is.
Wow. That's impressive. And how has the craft changed since the 60s?
The razor has faded away because there wasn't trainers that able to follow through with what Mr. Roffler had set up. He had went to Europe himself and trained with a individual there, and he got the technique and he brought it back to the United States, and that's when we trained here.
So you've owned Tucker since 1964, is that right?
Yes, I bought the first shop in '64. My wife owned the shop 68 to 71 in Dell City,
Okay.
and she got to where she had to quit because of her arms being held up all the time, doing perms and cuts. She went to work for the Tom Patuski's office, a court clerk, and she worked there 20 years. She was working there when they had the bombing downtown.
What is or what are the secrets to staying in business for this long?
Being able to take care of a client the way they want their haircut or their shave or whatever. That's all I do really is haircutting, shave. I don't do colors or things like that. Some do,
Okay.
but I had rather put my efforts into cutting and taking care of the client.
Were there any hard seasons inside and or outside of the industry that you really had to push through in business development, like from the 60s all the way up till now?
The main thing was being able to transition from one type style to another. We went from long hair back in the 60s and 70s to shorter hair in the 80s and 90s, and it has evolved since then. And now most of my work is done shear and comb or clipper and comb.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, as a regular just person on the street, I don't, when I had hair and also as I maintain facial hair and stuff like that, I forget that there are trends and there are different patterns that a regular customer or consumer might not recognize. What advice would you give to someone starting a business today?
Really have a good relationship with your clients. If you understand what they want as far as hair care and you provide that, whether it's shaving the outline with a straight razor or whether you're cutting clipper over comb or whether you're cutting shear over comb.
So it sounds like just really honing in to what a customer's needs and wants are,
Yes.
and just
Yes.
and nourishing that relationship. What changes did you help bring to the profession over the years?
I served as 25 years on the barber board, examining all barbers as they finished their training in school. I served under Walters, first Dewey Bartlett in the 60s. David Walters started again in 90. I served under Mary Fallon, Frank Keating, Brad Henry, and in 210 is when I left the examining area. I did it for 25 total years.
And in that time, you've received quite a few awards. Two that I jotted down that it doesn't cover everything that you've received over the years, but I saw that you were rated top 10 barbershops in the country, and that you were also named stylist of the year. What do some of these awards mean to you?
Means the effort that you put in, whether it is the fact that I travel to the national meetings each year and provide encouragement to the new barbers that are coming into the industry. And for 20 years, I have been what they consider the parliamentarian for the National Association. And that just means that I help run the national meeting through the process of the parliamentarian. Coming into question of some of the things that we provide as far as education, we do that through what they call 610 meetings, where they'll have 6 states that will break off and have a conversation from each of the states with the input as to what you're going to do to help the industry. And doing that, we have to focus on not only the hair care, but for health reasons. We do testing for syphilis. We do testing for COVID lately. It's just a bunch of barbers that get together because they want to save the profession. We have combined now our boards with barbers and cosmetologists. Cosmetologists had 10-1 over barbers, so that's the reason that we combined. And the licenses are issued to the same board. And in doing that, you have to have people that can check for haircuts, for perms, for other activities in the hair industry.
Just imagining what it would be like. How was did it take time to settle after the merge? Was it a gentle merger? Was it abrupt? Did it affect a lot of people?
It was a tough merger to start with because barbers didn't want to have to deal with cosmetology and what they were being asked to do as far as testing. Barbers didn't necessarily want to have testing on colors or perms or rollers or things like that. They wanted to know how to cut hair, precision hair, with any of the barber tools. Cosmetologists are not allowed to shave the face with a razor, but since they have combined, they are now merging to that degree. And I think at some point they probably will be able to do that. the barbers will be able to do color and perms and all that. So it's a crossover, is what it is.
Sounds like there wasn't much of a choice, and everyone's kind of easing into the overlapping responsibilities, and at some point,
That's
as you
right.
said, it's going to be
As a matter of fact,
all under one
the
umbrella.
government is what forced that.
Okay.
Yeah, the state government.
What makes a good leader in your experiences?
Being able to bring them into the profession with the knowledge that they can actually take care of a client, whether it's the fact that they want a type of haircut, or whether they want to be able to explain to the barber what their desire for a certain look. And in most cases, a regular haircut is what that is. It's just a taper haircut, either with a comb and shear or with a comb and a clipper.
And as you mentioned before, the patterns have changed, so that wasn't always the case.
Yes.
So as I recall, you mentioned, in the 60s and 70s,
Yeah.
there were a lot of haircuts that were desired tied to much, much more hair.
Mm-hmm. Back in the early 60s, 75% of my business was flat tops.
Oh, wow.
And that's what I really like to do. And you'd either have a flat top or a flat top boogie. The flat top boogie is where you comb the sides back like Fonzie and them did. But
Flat top boogie. I like that name.
yeah, you flat top, but all the sides come back into a DA in the back.
Okay.
And
how do you see it changing in the future? I guess that it's not the last change because things are constantly changing. If you had any guesses as to like where trends are going to go in the next, I don't know, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, what kind of changes do you see coming up?
I see that a lot of the students in grade school and high school are trending to longer hair.
So it's going back?
Yes. And I have very few young people. Most of my clientele is the adults.
Okay. Do you think we're going to get to back to the flat top boogie?
Eventually, I do flat tops now.
Oh, okay.
But it's a true flat top. It isn't a flat top boogie.
Okay.
But I could see that coming back at some point, yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been recognized for quite some time as a pillar in Midwest City. What does that mean to you to be a pillar in a city like Midwest City?
Well, it's quite a large undertaking when you move into a city that was already established with local barbers. But most of those have either went out of business or passed away. And me being in business over 60 years here in this city, I'm one of the longest running barbers here now. But I do have a young man coming in that has just graduated several months ago from barber school. And I do have a lady that's been with me 38 years.
Wow.
Her clientele is excellent. She, as a matter of fact, is in Vegas right now. But she's been with me and she's very loyal. And when I first brought her into the shop, and she watched me cut a head of hair with a pair of clippers. She jumped back and said, "What's that noise?" She had never seen anyone cut a head of hair with clippers. She was a shear and comb person only.
Wow.
And she still does a lot of that, but she does the clippers now.
Yeah?
And it speeds up her work a lot. Yeah.
That's really cool. What kind of legacy do you hope to leave behind?
Well, I hope that the industry will survive. As a matter of fact, not this year, but next year, we'll be in Columbus, Ohio. That will be celebrating our 100th year of barbering in the industry.
Wow, 100 years.
It'll be in South Carolina this year.
Okay.
And the next year is when we move to Columbus. And that's where it all started, is in Ohio.
In Ohio, in Columbus, Ohio.
Mr. Ed Jeffers is the one that started all those that are on that calendar up there, is bringing them into the industry as the Hall of Fame.
Ed Jeffers, he was the first?
Ed Jeffers, he is on the board, but it was later that he came in. I forget what year right now, but he has passed away. Most of them on the board are not living today. One of them would be Mr. Andes, that built the Andes Clipper, the one that built the Oyster, John Oyster, the Oyster Clipper.
Wow.
Mr. Roffler, again, is up there on that board. The Coke and barber chair is formulated by one of the men. So someone had something to do with the industry as far as tools or chairs or things that come back to the profession.
You all built it over the last 100 years. You built it together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Mr. Moeller was the first guy, and he was the one that had the first Moeller textbook for barbering that would explain barbering and give you technique and how to cut hair.
Wow. What's one lesson that you wish you learned a little bit earlier in life, based on all of the experiences that you've had in the industry?
Well, I wish that I could have went on to the profession of the animal husbandry, and that was my desire. But once I got into the industry, I was brought along by a couple of people that gave me the encouragement. And one of them was my uncle. And once I got established and my parents helped me buy my first shop, I was set for life then. I didn't waver going anywhere else or doing anything. My first shop was on Key Boulevard down here by Sherman Williams Paint. In that same building, it was the post office at that time. And that's what I called my first shop, Tucker's Post Office Barber Shop. And then they moved out on Reno, where they are now. But we've, me and my wife have raised 2 children here, and we've got 4 grandchildren now. But it has been a good life as far as the industry, as far as I'm concerned.
It sounds like you gave your whole heart to the profession. I
Yes.
mean, you sacrificed everything, including your original plans to help everyone build the industry. Over 60 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. It's inspiring.
Yeah.
If someone's listening right now and feels stuck in any way, what would you tell them?
I would find someone that has been in the industry for several years that could provide the knowledge of the industry to them. It's not easy in taking care of the client base. You have to be able to make them feel welcome in the chair. You have to do a good job in the cut and only charge a fair price.
That's a big part of it.
Mm-hmm. When I started back in the 60s, it was $1.50 for a haircut. And now today we charge $20 for a regular haircut.
$1. When was it $1.50?
That was back in 60 and 61.
61. I don't think we're going back to those prices anytime soon.
Yeah.
It's time to bring back the flat top boogie and the $1.50
right.
haircut.
Yeah. I'd love to see the flat top boogie again if I had clients that would wear it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully this conversation can inspire some people to maybe try it out.
I would like to see that, yes. And doing flat tops is an art. Most people won't even attempt that. My lady that's been with me 38 years will not even attempt to do a flat top because that wasn't what she was trained to do.
Yeah.
But she can do quality work in other areas.
So do you think it's within her wheelhouse to eventually specialize in flat tops, or do you think that at least the person that we're speaking about right now, do you think that flat tops aren't gonna be her strength?
It's not in demand like it was back in the early days.
Okay. Well, that answers the question too. Yeah. Gives me, and I think a lot of other people, some things to think about. Are there any common misconceptions tied to barbers or the industry, like that people, us regular folk, would maybe assume something about you or your industry as a whole that's completely wrong?
Yes, they could. And some will leave not only my shop and my chair and go somewhere else for some reason. And you never know why. It may be a personality conflict. It could be the fact that they just don't want to wear their hair the way that you think they would like to.
Sure.
And that is one of the best things, is to get a relationship with a customer, knowing what they want. I've got many customers that come in and sit down, and I know exactly what they want. And they get up and pay and go on.
That's priceless.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's priceless.
Yeah.
Well, Leroy, I hope this isn't the last time that we speak. I really appreciate you having this conversation with me. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Mm-hmm.
This episode of the Rotary Spark podcast is brought to you by Traeger Media, helping individuals and businesses build a solid digital presence. From web design to social media management and podcast production, they provide the tools and support to share your story effectively. Traeger Media works closely with clients to create something that feels true to their brand. Give them a call today at 978-290-8200 to see how they can help.